Good morning, traders. Welcome to StockCast. My name is Todd Derby, along with my co-host James Mason. Our goal today is to bring you insights and ideas regarding your daily trading activities in the stock market. Good morning, James. How are you?
Todd, good morning. I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
Doing very well. Me and many other members of Transparent Traders crushed it yesterday on a little trade called Nero. Are you familiar with that ticker?
I might have only been the first about said some words prohibited on YouTube. YouTube's cracking down. It's not even worth talking about, but yeah. I was the first person to talk about Nero, ticker NURO. Man, can't talk straight this morning.
So as we're going to discuss it, it's going to break $16 this morning. It's squeezing right now on the last 15 minutes. It's making a nice move.
Yeah. So hold on a second. All right, I was just looking at something in the market. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a moment. But let's see. Dow futures are currently up 150 points. S&P is up 8.5 points, and I think we're probably going to come out sideways and then drop in the market today. So we will see. If we do have a little bullish run, I don't think it'd be too much. Overall, the market is starting to tip over. Hold on, I'm just reading some comments. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about ticker NURO. All right, so the alert triggered at 391, and I mean we can see. Actually, if we go to the, man, I have so many lines on this chart, just from charting it so many times. But you can see the other day we actually triggered that range, and then it pulled back, and kind of just did whatever it wanted to do. And then yesterday they released that news about their medical device that eases the pain for fibromyalgia patients, and you can clearly see what it had done on a stock that only has 5 million shares outstanding. So while this bad boy was making its push up, there were accounts popping like crazy for the people who were trying to short it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the thing, guys. Like, don't get me wrong. I love shorting a good penny stock. Man, it's almost a guaranteed money in the bank win if you know what you're doing. But the thing is, you really have to consider the news. I mean, that was strong news. We're talking about something that's curing pain for fibromyalgia. Also, it only had 5 million shares outstanding. With that kind of hype, there was just too much buying pressure to really try to jump into this to short it. And the bears are honestly, they're getting their peaches squeezed off today. That's the best way to put it. So if you were a bear trying to short NURO, you're probably not trading anymore. Like, you're probably done.
What's funny is that people look at these stocks and go, "Oh, it's making a parabolic move, or it's making a squeeze. I'm going to short it," but they don't consider the two things you mentioned. Is one, how strong is the news, and that sometimes you and I have debated news. Like, we hear news and we react differently, and so there is a little bit of an art to what is real news and what isn't, and then two, the outstanding shares and who holds them. So, there's some tickers that we pull up and you go like, "Oh my gosh, this is a bloated pig." There's no squeeze going to happen. There's nothing going to make a blow off move because there's too many shares out there.
Exactly. And this is one of the reasons why I like to trade these low outstanding share bio stocks. Like, everybody tries to chase the low floats. Honestly, it's really if you look for the low outstanding shares, that is what matters. I mean, yeah, you can find the low float stuff that'll run, but really at the end of the day, it comes down to supply and demand. And you can have a low float and that thing have 100 million shares on the market. And you can also have a low float and only have 5 million shares outstanding on the market. So why not just go for the one that has 5 million shares outstanding on the market? Because the float is going to only just be a few million to begin with. I mean, it's just a lot of people make trading more complex than what it should be. Now, with me saying that, I'm going to contradict myself here, and I know this, but like there is a level of complexity to trading, but mostly it comes down to the effort you put into it to understand it. But once you understand it, a lot of this stuff is just, either it is or it isn't. Like just what I was saying. If there are a lot of shares outstanding on the market, it's harder for it to go up. If there are fewer shares outstanding on the market, it's easier to go up. That's simple. But yeah, that was pretty much the story with ticker NURO yesterday. And I mean, this thing is just being a beast today. So even though it's pushing up today, I mean, there's no way I would still short this thing. There's going to be so much FOMO trying to push this thing up and chasing it. I mean, just to throw some wild speculation out there, and this is not even technical analysis. This is literally me just speculating. So don't jump in.
Let's answer the question real quick. And Incendio Game Boy Mods is asking, would you suggest jumping in right now, or is she done? She's definitely not done, but I would be careful jumping in now. If you did, I would go in small size and look for scalps.
Yeah, because let's see. Let me erase all of these lines off my chart so I can show y'all really quick. All right. So here's yesterday's candlestick. I mean, just look how massive. Now, let me zoom out. That was yesterday's candlestick right here. We've now gapped up to right here. When you look at this little dashed line, that's the current value. When you look at this across the big picture right here, it's kind of pretty hard to pick your entry. I mean, we went up over 200% yesterday, and then we're currently up 66% right now.
It's a lot of movement.
Yeah. And like now overall, I mean, I do feel like this could really keep pushing, but when is the pullback? You just don't know. You don't know, because the reason why this is still pushing up is there's a lot of people still holding shares down, who bought right in this range. And at some point they're going to say, you know what? I feel like having a nice payday, and they're going to go sell. And then millions of shares are going to just start, flooding the market, and that's going to push it down.
And we're not talking about like a few retail traders selling a few hundred shares. We're talking about someone who's making a real change in their hedge fund or a real movement in shares.
Millions.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, there's only 5 million shares on the market, but when I say millions, like, when someone drops that big order, it's going to trigger those stop losses, and it's just going to create millions in volume. So once you start seeing that,
like the first block could be like 250,000, 500,000 shares, and then it'll be a domino effect after that.
Yes. And you'll start seeing those candles, like, for instance, yesterday, 4 or 5 million shares traded in a 5-minute candle. And if they're turned into red candles, it's going to get probably beat down.
Yeah.
Now, with me saying that, I do expect a decent pullback. The thing is, I don't know when. And really, what I'm going to do is just play this. Honestly, just using the TTBB entries and exits indicator. And this is on the 2-minute chart, but you can see how this is playing out on the 2-minute chart. And I'm just going to go off that. I mean, literally, this thing is almost daggone spot on. And yesterday, when I was updating everybody with tweets on my entries and exits, I mean, You can ask them. I mean,
were you cheating? Were you using those indicators
the entire time? 100%.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man, those EE indicators, oof, beast. It is a beast. All right, so let's talk about ticker LEXX really quickly. So this ticker right here, they have 5.1 million shares outstanding. The float is 2.5 million. The only thing is, this is a food packaging company. Well, it's actually the industry. They're in food packaging, but it's supposed to. I don't really know the full, DD behind this company, but I know in the past they've dealt with stuff like with food packaging. But I guess they're like in bioscience, or obviously with their name, but like doing some kind of bioscience stuff now. I don't know. Again, guys, I don't know the full DD here, so this will be something that we need to look into. But yesterday let's see, they had some news they released yesterday, and since they have converted to a bio company now from the past, there's some study that they just entered into or whatever. I don't know. But anyways, we can see with whatever that study was, and it made it pop, but obviously it's fading away here. So what we need to look for in the future when we're doing our DD here is, we know what it has potential to now. So what we next have to do is find out what exactly this company is doing. What did they have their hands in? What is this potential catalyst? Because what they released yesterday or this morning is not really holding up too well for them so far. But this next go around, we'll need to see it break above 12.10 in the future. And then that next target price will be 15.56, which will be the high off of this candle back here. And then more confirmation right in here. So again, this is something I saw come up on my scanner this morning, and I don't know. The one thing I do hate is when these companies were once something in the past a long time ago, and then they change industries. It's always weird. It always just kind of looks like they don't really know what's going on. Yeah. I don't know. Todd, do you know anything about this company?
I know nothing about it. It's on top. It's one of my top 5 on my scanner, but it's I know zero about it.
Now, if you were a bear looking to short stuff, when you find companies, especially who have changed like industry sectors, even if it's been years ago, chances are they'll probably turn into good short plays when they spike. I mean, you got to think like you can't just start up a biotech company. Like you can't be a food packaging company one year and then say, hey, this ain't working out for us. We need to get into the bio sector. But I mean, we have all this equipment from the food packaging industry, which would be beneficial for the biotech, company. But you just don't say, I'm going to start this up and you become that. It's too much involved, too much money involved. All right. So I'm seeing a lot of questions come through about POAI.
Is that a ticker that you like?
Well, I like to find these, diamond in the roughs for trades.
We did talk about how the last 5 to 10 days, POAI has been this nice little channel, and it's holding up.
Yes,
which is a positive. I mean, and someone's asking about, is there a catalyst coming in July still? Well, that's what they've told us. I do think though that there was a group of traders out there that were positioning themselves to vote no on their proposals. that may have delayed them up by a few days. So if it doesn't come by July 31st, I'm not going to panic myself.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, I think for the proxy vote, July 27th might be the last day. So I can't tell anybody how to vote for their proxy shares. But most of y'all know that I've personally spoken to the CFO, CEO, and then other people surrounding the company. And y'all know that I quickly changed my stance on the company. So there's a strong reason for that. I voted yes, or it's actually for FOR on the actual proxy card. I voted for, to approve all of their little resolutions, proposals that they got. Now, in my opinion, it would behoove you to vote for it as well, because the partnerships that they're wanting to make, those companies, they want shares of Predictive Oncology.
Yes.
And I can't blame them. I'd absolutely tie up shares in my deal as well, because they know what they're getting. And you gotta think, guys, if a company is wanting shares of, say, Predictive Oncology here to do whatever deal that they're going to do, they have insider information. That's how deals work. They have to have insider information to make a deal. So if they're saying, hey, we want some shares, they know what's up. So again, guys, I can't tell you how to vote, but hey, y'all wanted them to open up lines of communications, and I got them to open up the lines of communication. And it makes sense. That's all I'm going to say. It makes sense.
We're about 8 minutes away from the start of the market. Do you have any final thoughts for today?
Hopefully I'm not wrong on this, but guys, don't get fooled and psyched out thinking we're just having a true bounce in the market and this is the whole buy the dip. I just don't see it. The market, man, there's so many things that are starting to break down in the market. And as we start to head into August, I think August is going to be a horrible month. And once we get into like October is notorious for being a bad month. October is actually a bad month for me trading, period. Last year was the first year that October was not a red month for me. And I'm hoping to do that again this year. So,
I hope to do that every month.
Yeah. It's usually October and December. Those are the months that will probably be red for me. And last December, pretty sure last December I was red. Can't remember. No, I wasn't. What month was that when the whole TradeNet thing happened and they didn't pay me out?
I think it was October.
Okay. Yeah, so I did have some like losses in my normal account, but then I had 67,000 in the TradeNet account I never got paid out for. And it is what it is. That's what happened.
Was a double effing because you had a loss in your one account and then they didn't pay you where you had wins in the other account.
Yeah.
Yeah, you and many others.
Yep. So yeah, guys, just keep your eyes on the market. And what I mean by that is if we start to break new highs, then obviously we're going to have a little bit more of a bullish run. But I just have a hard time seeing that. We're already starting to tip over here. I believe that this is going to be a fake out. I believe that today's candlestick is going to get rejected off of that 9 EMA and pull back. But watch in the future for the breakdown below 420.43 on the spot. That's when I start getting bearish. So, guys, remember, trade safe, trade smart, move them stop losses up, especially for the people who are still in ticker NURO. Constantly keep moving them stop losses up. It's okay to stop out in profits. I promise. It's 100% okay. And then if you decide to enter in later, don't double down. Don't even go back in with the same position size.
Smaller
size. Because the worst thing to do is to have nice profits and then enter back in, and then you erase everything. So trade safe, guys. Trade smart, and appreciate y'all for tuning in today, and we will catch y'all in the next one.
See ya.